Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about this Holosun 503g ACSS. I've done many videos on this optic. If you search my channel name and Holosun 503g, you will find videos on this, and I'm going to say that this is like the best optic out there, okay? Or the best red dot specifically. And I got a bunch of them on this table that we're going to be specifically comparing the Parallax, okay? So I've got AimPoint, I got SIG, I got Trijicon, I got EOTech, I've got, who's that, right? I've got Leupold, and I got another Holosun, okay? So I've got a number of name brands here. So the way, what's happening is a couple of days ago, I was doing a, basically an initial impressions video on this budget Feyachi. Okay, that's the Feyachi V90. Okay, so this is one of those Amazon optics. So I was testing it out, you know, for a budget optic, like which, like I said, some people, that's what they need, right? That's all they can afford. So I was testing it out, and one of my viewers told me to check for Parallax. So I said, okay, that's yeah, it's a great idea. So the way I set this test up, let me put this down. I have a target out there at 100 yards that looks exactly like that plate over there that you see. So from the bottom of the plate to the shoulder is 16 inches, all the way up to the head is 20 inches, right? So the whole thing is 20 inches tall. The width is 12 inches. The red stripe that you see down the middle is 4 inches, okay? So using those reference points, right, I can, like, what I'm doing is I'm going to be putting the rifles in this sled over here and moving my head all the way up, all the way down, all the way left, all the way to the right, inside of the optic, and looking for a red dot shift. Okay, so I'm holding the same point on the target, going left to right, up and down, and looking for a shift. Okay, so I'll tell you guys right now, they all do shift. They all shift. If you move your head that much, okay, no, there's no optic, all right, that I have on this table, including the AimPoint and the Trijicon and the Leupold and, you know, and the EOTech. There's no optic on this table that is truly parallax free. Okay, so if the parallax shift is inside of 3 inches, right? And again, I'm using that red line over there, or inside of 4 inches, right? It's inside of 4 inches. I'm going to say that's good. Okay, if it's inside of 8 inches, I'm going to say mediocre, okay? If it's more than 8 inches, I'm going to say that's not very good, okay? Now, it will be different on if you go left and right, and then it will be different if you go up and down, right? Because on some of these, it's like if you go up and down, there's no movement, but if you go left and right, there is. On some of them, it's reverse, right? And on some of them, it's both, right? Where if you go left and right, you know. So we're going to go through all of them. The interesting thing is, like, I've tested for parallax before, but I've never, like, tested so many at the same time, and it's really given me a good understanding that, hey, parallax shift is a real thing. They almost all do it. Some do it less than others, okay? So what I found is that the Holosun 503g is inside of 4 inches. The AimPoint is inside of 4 inches, right? And the SIG Romeo 7 is inside of 4 inches. Okay, so those are the best for minimal parallax shift as you're moving your head to the extremes, right? Going all the way up and all the way down. Okay, so of these three here, right, the Holosun 503g is about $200, or when I got it, it was $200. I've seen it anywhere from $200 to $250. SIG Romeo 7, I looked it up before, it is about $200, but this is dot only and it's big. Okay, so for that dot only, you got a very big, heavy optic here. Okay, so when you take the parallax and then you know, so they're both really good on parallax, but the Holosun 503g is both smaller, lighter, and it also has the ACSS reticle, so you have a bullet drop compensator with a 6x magnifier behind this, I've had this out to 500 yards, hitting well inside of 20 inches. Okay, so this is good. Now, the other one that did really good was the AimPoint. Okay, so same deal here with the AimPoint. All right. Yes, this is really good on the Parallax, inside of 4 inches, but the thing is gigantic. Okay, it's big, and again, it's dot only, so it's really hard to get out to out to 500 yards with this, and it's hard to do your range estimating. Okay, because with this Holosun 503g, because it has that 65 MOA circle. First of all, that big circle helps you with the target acquisition, right? Because at about 15 yards, right, that circle is going to be half the size of your man, right, from here to the shoulder. Okay, so it's going to really help you. So I don't look for the little chevron in the center. I just look for that big circle and get it on the target. Now, as far as range estimating with this Holosun 503g, there's 2 ways that you can do it. You can use the chevron and the dots and if you look in the instructions, they tell you exactly how to do it. That's not the method that I use. I use the same method that I use with my circle dots, because I'm just used to it. I'm more comfortable with it. I'm able to do it faster. So for that one, if his feet are at the tip of the chevron and his head comes up to the top of the circle, your man is at 200 yards. If he comes up 3/4 of the way, right? Feet at the tip of the chevron, head coming up. If he comes up 3/4 of the way, he's at 300 yards. If he comes up halfway, he's at 400 yards. If he comes up 1/4 of the way, he's at 500 yards. Okay. So then you have the chevron, right? Usually I'll take a 50-yard zero. So the tip will give you a zero at 50 yards and 200 yards. The legs of the chevron will give me an impact at 300 yards. The first dot is 400 yards. Next dot is 500 yards. And the last dot is 600 yards. Now, of course, if you're using a shorter barrel, that's going to shift a little bit. Okay, so excellent reticle. So anyway, I'm going to go through these, and I'm going to test them one by one, and I'm going to basically call out the parallax shift to you guys. So I'm going to start with this again, the Holosun 503g. I'm going to show them to you one at a time as I'm doing it. Make sure that the camera's still running here. Yeah, we're still good. Okay, so I think this one seems to be discontinued. I hope they don't. I hope it's not. I hope they bring it back, because this is the best one. Okay. So I got my target at 100 yards. So I'm picking a point on the target, and then what I'm doing is I'm moving my head side to side, and then up and down. And it's really inside of 3 inches. Okay, it's hard. I'm not using a magnifier in any of these, just to keep everything equal. That shift, both left to right, up and down, really minimal. All right? And what I've also done is I've powered down the red dot as much as possible, so it doesn't like glare out and distort the image. All right, let's try the AimPoint. Okay, so here we're talking like a $650+ optic. This I gotta raise up. So they all got different rails and different stocks. So we're gonna have to make some adjustments. All right, so we got the AimPoint now, side to side. Yeah, it's inside of 3 inches. Up and down, inside of 3 inches. Okay. So on the parallax shift, the Holosun 503g and the AimPoint. I think it's the AimPoint Pro, I think. Okay, so they're about the same on parallax shift. Just close the dust cover because it's like snowing on and off. All right, so now we're gonna do the SIG Romeo 7. Okay, so again, we got, this is also like a $200 optic, but it's dot only and it's big. Okay, so we're going side to side, up and down. Inside, again, inside of 3 inches. And I really can't be more accurate than that. I mean, I can definitely tell that it's moving, right? But I can't say it's 1 inch or 2 inches. Because again, I'm using that 4-inch strip that you see over there as a reference point to see how much movement there is side to side, up and down. Okay. So for Parallax, of the ones I have available to me right now to test, it's the Holosun 503g, the AimPoint Pro, and the SIG Romeo 7. Right now, the ones I'm testing here, those are all the best, okay? And I do think that on the budget side, the Romeo 7 and the Holosun are best value, and the Holosun basically beats them out on being a lot more smaller, a lot more compact, more lightweight, but also giving you more in the reticle, giving you, you know, an outer circle, giving you range estimating, giving you a bullet drop. That's the one. Okay, so now let's test some of the others. All right, so we got here Trijicon MRO HD. I think this is also like, I think this is like in that $600 range. Okay, let's get you on there. I had the same issue with yesterday with this one. It goes, oh, there it goes. Couldn't find the dots on it. See, that's why you gotta have that big outer circle, man. Especially if you're like in an unconventional position, like I can't get like directly behind the rifle here, or easily behind the rifle. If you just got a dot only, I mean, a lot of times you're gonna find yourself fishing for it. Try to make this a little bit less right, not too right. All right, there we go. Okay, so this is where we start getting interesting now. So if I go up and down, I'm inside of, I'm at about 3 or 4 inches, but if I go side to side, I'm almost at 12 inches, okay? So the parallax shift side to side with this Trijicon MRO is almost 12 inches. So again, I'm at 100 yards there. So that's a 12 MOA shift, okay? So all these other ones here, you know, we're talking about max 3 MOA shift if you're shifting from one end of the glass to the other. With this one, it's about 3 up and down, but if you're going left and right, you're up to almost 12 inches, 12 MOA shift left to right. The thing that this kind of has going for it is that it is small. Okay, it is small, but it's dot only compared to the, okay, and it's still bigger than the Holosun 503g. Okay, so the Holosun 503g is beating this. Okay, I don't care what the money is for this. I want this on my rifle. All right, things get interesting now. Let's. So yeah, we're getting progressively worse here. Okay, so we got. It's not for this. We got EOTech. I forgot which EOTech number this is, but we got EOTech. Right, and not only do we have EOTech, we got EOTech on a Delta level defense, so it's like a $1,700 rifle. So, you know, with the EOTech scope, so we are like max Gucci here, okay? So this has a 1 MOA dot, but it's a holographic sight, so it's going to be more grainy. I prefer just a solid red dot, but that's me. All right, so I'm in that same position. So up and down, there's almost no shift. It's like, I mean, up and down, it's like inside of 3 inches, let's put it that way, okay? It's hard to say. I think for up and down, this is really minimal. It might even be 2 inches at 100 yards. Because this is really, because now there's a 1 MOA dot, so I can see it a little bit more clearly. But left to right, yeah, we're going almost 6 inches. So as I move my head left to right, the parallax shift is about 6 inches. Up and down is really nice, but left to right, you know, it's not bad. Okay. I mean, I think 8 inches plus is where it gets bad, but this is at about 6 inches left to right. Yeah, definitely jumping. Right? Yeah, so you can see that red paint over there. So it's going past the red paint on both sides, okay? So that red paint over there, the stripe in the middle being 4 inches, this is going like a full inch on one side, full inch on the other side. It's a 6 inch parallax shift left and right at 100 yards. All right, so let's put blue down. So this is now the Holosun 510C. So this is probably one of the most common optics that I have. And the reason is because of that big window, which is really great for training beginners, new shooters, you know, because it's really easy to get on target. If you're, you know, you could be moving, this thing could be like, you know, moving around like this, and you can, you know, and you can keep track of that big circle dot. So yeah, this kind of copies the EOTech idea. But it does it lighter and it does it cheaper, okay? And I've been working with these for at least 6 years. Haven't had one fail. I mean, I've literally got like thousands and thousands of rounds. Let's put it this way: I've done videos where I have shot out AR-15s at 22,000 rounds. Okay, I shot out a Palmetto at 15,000+ rounds. So the optics are, the Holosuns are actually surviving past the life of the guns. Okay, I still have my original one, the first Holosun I bought, and that's on a Lynx 12 now. It's on an AK shotgun, okay, and that has like 15,000+ rounds on it. And before that, it was on a Sega 12, where it did like another 10,000 rounds. Okay, so as far as durability, these Holosuns have that durability. Let's get this guy on here, see what he does. I'm going to dim it down just a little bit. So this dot doesn't look like, when I dim it down, it doesn't look, it might, I think it's a 2 MOA dot, but I think it's almost, it looks like almost 1 MOA dot. It looks very fine. But anyway, let's see, left, right. We got some shift. Up, down. So up, down. Almost no shift up and down, like it's inside of, it looks like it's inside of 2 inches up and down. But left, right, yeah, it's doing 6 inches left and right. So both of these, both the EOTech and the Holosun 510C, up and down, there's like almost no parallax shift, but left and right, they both have about 6 inches. So I think it's like $650 plus for this. $300 for this. Obviously that's bigger. This is a little bit lighter. Battery life is much better on this. Okay, I do wish that they would make this with an ACSS reticle, right? Because then you could really get out to 500-600 yards with this if you put a 6x magnifier behind it. All right, like I said, we're going from best to worst. Okay, so now we got Feyachi, Amazon, $80 red dot here. So one of my viewers made a comment when I was doing the review. It's like, oh my God, not Amazon. And I'm like, yes, Amazon too. You know what? If it's good, if it's bad, people need to know, man. I need to talk about these things. You know, we need to have a comparison. I need to be able to tell people, yes, buy it. This is the reason to buy it. No, don't buy it. This is the reason not to buy it. You know, or these are the pros, these are the cons. You make your own decision, okay? So yeah, I'm, you know, I mean, I'll test anything and everything. All right, let's see what we got. 21. Okay. So first, let me say this, because this is an $80 optic. That dot is really nice, right? It's not like, because sometimes you get these budget optics and the dot looks like crap. It's either like distorted or sunburned. This is a very nice dot. It's dot only. I hope Feyachi gives us a circle dot at some point, or even better yet, a circle dot with a bullet drop compensator. You know, with like a chevron and 3 dots, or even better yet, maybe 3 chevrons, right? Like a big chevron and then maybe 3 little chevrons underneath it. You know, so you know, this is, let's take a look at this, see what this does. Okay, so yeah, up and down, we're going almost 12 inches, right? Almost 12 MOA up and down. Left and right, it's not bad. It's like 3 inches, okay? 3, maybe 4 inches. So the left and right on this one is pretty good, which is like interesting because like when I was looking at the EOTech, for example, you know, left to right, the parallax was actually worse on the EOTech. But on the up and down, the EOTech was good. So this one is up and down. Up and down is where we got a problem, where it's like 12, you know, MOA shift up and down. But it's only, it might even be inside of 3 inches, left and right. Let's do one more. Okay, let me give you guys a looky at this one. So nice thing about this, it is compact. It does have buttons, so it is digital. So we're not messing with the dials. I don't like the dials. The dials, a lot of times they'll go bad. Sometimes the contact points will lose contact, and it won't happen on all of them. It'll happen on one, so like maybe one isn't working. So this is digital. It's auto on, auto off after. It's auto off after 8 minutes, and then it'll shake awake. Okay. So I think that like if somebody's on a strict budget, and you know, this is not a bad optic. You know, this is not a bad optic for $80. I'd rather have somebody get a red dot and work with it and get, you know, get stuff moving, you know, rather than just like, let's say, work just with iron sights. Okay. So I would, you know, I mean, I'd rather people, because once they get started on that, yeah, eventually, like they'll work with that. At some point, you know, once they get into the hobby, at some point they'll get another rifle. Then what they'll do is, what usually happens is, okay, then for the next rifle, they go more expensive on the optic. I mean, budget optics have a place too. All right, let's try this one. This is Leupold. This is the Freedom RDS. I think this was somewhere in the area of like $350. Now this has a built-in bullet drop compensator all the way out to like, I think 600 yards. Okay, it's big. Okay, so but it's dot only. It's a dot only. Let's get this down here. So this doesn't have like an up and down arrow. This has a single button on the side that you just keep pressing and cycling through it. And I do not like it, okay, because I can never seem to find the brightness level that I want. There you go. Yeah. There you go. I got it there. Okay, so let's do this. Okay, so this one. Okay. So I knew this from having done this a few days ago. Guys, this is the worst one, okay? The parallax shift on this is like 12 inches up and down, 12 inches left and right, okay, on this Leupold Freedom RDS. I mean, I don't know what they were thinking when they were doing this. I mean, I don't know, you know, what they did with the lens that makes it move that much. But I'll tell you guys right now, I mean, you give me, like, if I have to choose between this Feyachi, this $80 Feyachi and this Leupold Freedom, I'm taking the Feyachi, okay? The first, it's smaller, it's lighter. They're both dot only, okay? And the parallax on this Leupold is worse. So there's like absolutely no reason on earth to pay whatever they're charging for this, the $350 plus, when you can get this and it's gonna, you know, it's got less of a parallax shift. But anyway, I'm just reporting to you guys what I'm seeing. It's up to you guys to, you know, make your own decisions, okay? But in my opinion, of all these optics that I tested here, the best one is the Holosun 503g ACSS with that bullet drop compensator. Let me make it brighter. Actually, let me take this apart, try to get behind the camera here. See if I can get you guys to see this, make it brighter. So the thing with the 3 dots, you need a magnifier in order to be able to see it. But you can see how that is a lot easier to get on target. So with the magnifier, you see the details of the chevron and the 3 dots, and you can use that for your bullet drop. And now the thing with the smaller optics, with this one over here, right? Like if you start, like if you're running and gunning, right, and if you're on a moving vehicle, with the smaller, with the smaller glass, right? I mean, it's easier to lose your place. By comparison, when you got this big window here, let's see if I can get behind it. Oh yeah, there it is. Okay, so with this one over here, I didn't make this one as bright, but you can see with this one you got a lot more room if you're running, or if you're in a moving vehicle. It's a lot easier to track. So I wish they would put that reticle in this optic. Okay, but this one's actually cheaper. Like on average, I was paying about $300 for these. Where on average, I was paying about $200 for the 503G. So, you know, when you factor in the money and that this has a bullet drop compensator, this is the best red dot. Okay, that is the best red dot. If you're on a limited budget, that's the one to get. Even if you are not on a limited budget, okay, even if you can afford AimPoints and EOTechs and Leopold and Trijicons, that's the one to get. So drop some comments, let me know what you guys think.